welcome. It is the tail end of the work week. We're here again. Listening to a little Motley Crue off Theater of Hate. There's some people that don't like that album, but I like it. Travis is in the house. Good to see you. Mochi, Megatron, Cubing, Manage Roy, and everybody else lurking for 300 Trebek. Men find the red pill on their own due to a breakup or post-divorce, or have seen somebody go through a breakup or divorce. That could be a family person. That could be a parent. That could be an uncle. We do not recruit. There is no such thing as recruiting to the red pill. If you try to recruit somebody going through a difficult time, it'll fall on deaf ears. They have to find this out by themselves. JLM is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Carl is back. Exactly. The red pill isn't a pill so much as it is a suppository. Not when you're willingly taking, but induced. I like it, Carl. Good to see you, brother. Out on the East Coast, Nick Vincent is back. Good to see Nick. Primo live in BC. Welcome to you. But this is the reality. Some people, I first heard of the term MGTOW in 2010. A band was playing in my house in Oregon, and a guy was there. He was going through divorce. The woman took both kids, and they were young, maybe 6 and 8 at the time. He was my age. He looked down on his life, and he told me, "Yeah, I'm able. I'm working, but I've found this new philosophy called MGTOW." This was in May of 2010. I remember the month, and he was an interesting fellow, but that was the very first time I heard MGTOW. Fast forward until 2015. That is when I find out MGTOW was legit. I mean, this guy was probably one of the original dudes that learned about it. And he's still, to this day, I've kept in touch with him, and he is still following the tenets. No marriage, no cohabitation, no kids. Timmy Kramer, the forever bachelor, is back. A man should always ask a woman one question. How many times have you been married? Here's another example. Timmy Kramer's uncle tells him at age 18, 40 years ago, under 39 years ago, don't get married. He listened. Back in the black is Polska. Polska's out delivering some dead flowers. Good to see you. Moki Alex, I got Red Bull because of a woman's high standard. There you go, brother. Big John was basically what got me involved. I think I watched him. He was the second guy. I think Turd Fling Monkey was the first. I think he was a decent guy. The flavor that really did it for me was Big John. I liked his delivery. We were close in age. He had a couple kids that were same age as mine and so forth. Divorce, a medical procedure where the judge reaches down your throat, out of your butt, grabs your wallet, and removes it forcefully without anesthesia. Ain't that the truth, JLM? Laying it down to Chinatown. Patriots won. Some red pill guys think that holding frame is enough. Wait till they get to divorce court. Frame doesn't exist. Rad, good to catch you in real time. I'm getting loaded in Vernon, California, headed to Topeka with a load of frozen burritos. Red pill does not find men. Men find red pill. Fool me once. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. Be safe out there on the roads. Be safe out there. Another trucker. Brandon Trueblood is another trucker. Fool me once. I think Batman Beyond's a trucker. Bo Mayer. There's quite a few of good men out there delivering the goods and services that we all rely on. Shout out. PH, ignorance of the red pill is a fool's paradise. But how many men return to the plantation thinking that they found the one, or they have the frame. They have the frame to deal with the ladies. Barbarossa's video, the post-feminist man, is still one of the best MGTOW out there, says Polska. Barbarossa did some good stuff. David Smith is in the house. Good to see David. At work, taking care of business. Seraphim is back. MGTOW is freedom. Big John, good to see Seraphim. Manage Roy, marriage is all about expenses. If you can't increase your expenses, don't get in marriage. Very wise words, my friend. I would agree with that statement. It costs a lot. Some find it because we've passed it on and enlightened them. Some will look at men that are going their own way and they think, man, why isn't that guy married again? Apparently, 70% of divorced men and women remarry within the first 18 months. If you don't remarry within the first 18 months of a divorce or a breakup of somehow, your odds of getting married are like 10% after that. Rad is in the 10% canoe. No desire. Marriage is for the birds and outdated technology that doesn't work. I'm a Sigma male and I know a way to cope with anything. Anything, says Megatron. Good to have Megatron back. My old girlfriend lives in Topeka. She takes depression meds daily and searching for husband number 3. Number 1, it's very sad that she's taking depression meds, but that's par for the course now, right? Primo Living says he heard the term MGTOW in 2016. Red pilled since 95 when I was made to live on my own. Learning comes from hardship. I'm grateful for my rough life. I'm glad you brought that up. We will not grow or become different unless we hurt physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, or mentally, right? CJ says relationships are GAY. You ain't got no alibi. I would agree with that statement 100%. Let them have relationships. Let them go get married and see what everyone else has to deal with. Good to see CJ. Manasseh is back. Trauma makes men, trauma breaks women. Think Myron said that. I've heard that a couple places. Good to have you, Manasseh. Old Christian Henney is back. Heavy, hey, Rad, it's me, OC, staying contacted with you in Singletown. What's up? What's going on? Good to see you as well, my friend in Europe. Chris Athana says, I need to email you about an idea to help men process the message on this channel. What's your public email? It's a very simple one, my brother. rebelagainstdefeat@gmail.com. One word. Good to see Chris in the house. My foolish uncle divorcing her wife to marry a new woman. We are enjoying the party throughout, whether it's a divorce party or a newlywed party. People like the attention. Arriving late, but try to never miss a stream. Steve in Arizona, good to see you, brother. Michael Reitel is back. I think I was always red-pilled even when I was a kid. I knew marriage is slavery. I always wanted to be as free as possible. You're way ahead of us, brother. Good for that. Nick Vincent, think it takes around 2 years after your last relationship for it to sink in permanently. Well said. And if you're going through a divorce or a breakup, it's 1 month for every year you've been together, is what they say. Moki says, I'm already shadow banned again on my new channel. And I've tried to keep it really clean, but the words, they don't like Radster. I've had trauma caused by women and victimized in every way, says Megatron. Ladies can have a very detrimental impact on men. This is why we help men share our experiences, share our thoughts, share what's happened, share ideas so that we cannot ever go back to a plantation that does not favor or respect men. Polska, I'd add TFM, she'll never love you, or human take, she can't love like that. And of course, Paul Proteus is hypergamy flows. That was a good one. Rest in peace, Paul Proteus. Great stuff there. Sitting down with a treat to eat, then more Cinderfella duties. JLM. Radical Rifter After is back. Good to see you, brother. Good to see Radical Rafter. Saving money for a nice car and money on the Philippines life. Good. Good. Saving up his money, buying what he wants, having nobody to give to or take care of. It's wonderful. Freedom. MGTOW is freedom. A lot of men might not be to the stage. There's guys in our chat that are going through court issues to see their children. There's dealing with ex-wives, dealing with baby mamas, dealing with all sorts of things. But we are here for each other. Seraphim says they don't like men's only spaces. Go figure, right? Polska says, how did Scotty hanging out with Scotty Side go? Check out Scotty Side's channel. Went great. He stayed with me for 2 nights. We did a hike. hung out, went karaoke at a cowboy bar, went downtown, showed him around. I think he enjoyed it. Good guy. Always invite Scotty if he is in town. Relationships are like war. Unless you're a savage, you're going to get murked. Well said, brother. Pixels going their own way. Good to see you. Tell me where you are from. Also found Dirk early on from the MGTOW Solution. A lot of great creators out there, even today. Rad, will you eventually migrate to Rumble? I'm on Rumble. Go look at Rebel Against Defeat. I think there's 2 channels. One has most of my videos. Heading for San Diego Sunday for week number 7. No doubt, no debt, stress, or female horseshit. Freedom for 300 for Timmy Kramer. Once I got my life settled in the Philippines with my business, we should do a live streaming channel. Would love to do that. Pixels from Poland. Awesome, brother. I think everyone knows my brother was there for 4 years in Poland, Warsaw, and just got home in July. He had his fair share of, what are they called? Pierogies. Anyhow, this is the deal. We don't recruit. You can't go up to a guy going through a divorce. Like my brother's going through a second divorce. I can't go up and say, dude, you got to check out MGTOW. You got to check out Red Pill. You got to ask him. If you really want to make an impact in anyone's life that they're going through a breakup or a divorce, you would say the following. Why is there so much divorce lately? Or why are women really seeking a lot of validation and attention? Ask them questions. Don't tell them what they're doing is wrong. Don't tell them not to break up or not to get back with them. Just ask them certain questions. How come women are so into their appearance these days? How come they're always on their phone? How come they have so many messages? That's the only way you can do it. We need to do a chance to do a streaming. We'll have to check that out, brother. Mysterio from Winnipeg. Even more than the show, I love that you have made great new friends that can stay with you. Look, guys, we hang out, and I saw Scotty back in Oregon, and no problem. Hung out here, picked him up from the airport, took him back to the airport, did some hikes. It was great. When you meet up with people that are like-minded, things are a lot. They go well. But it was good, and that invitation is out to anybody. Rev stayed with me, Reverend 20 Piece. Had a great time. Did a hike with him as well. Had a few suds. Poland is buying up artillery and tanks from South Korea. Gearing up. Interesting times ahead, JLM. Interesting times ahead. Which city in the Philippines? I've heard Cebu is pretty cool. I don't think I could do Philippines or Thailand. I got to stay Latin America. That's the culture I know. I'd like to visit. Child support issues, contact Eamon Osiris. There you go. SCE is back. Good to see you, brother. Another one of the master wrenches. Check out that link. If you ask all these questions, all you'll get is lies. Or fantastical, fantasy. Why men get together? Fraternal orders can move mountains. Women hate fraternal orders because they are not the focus of our attention when we work together for a common goal. Brandon Trueblood, driving our goods and services, actually goods and products. Appreciate you, brother. I've met Brandon a couple times. He just finished his first year on the MGTOW World Tour. Check out his channel. Somebody post a link to Mr. Trueblood's channel. Cebu, a lot of Brits in Cebu apparently, and Canadians. Over here, she tried to kill me and steal his wealth, and she failed miserably in it, and still everyone is supporting her for wrongdoing. Well, women get the majority of the condolences and the support. I mean, if the popo shows up at a house where there's a domestic argument, man's leaving, even though it might most likely is the lady's fault. And so, or many times it's the lady's fault. That's what happened in my position. And the men come to the aid of Captain Save-A-Ho in blue uniforms. Just how it is. My son turned 21 a week ago. I dropped into his party at a brewery in Anaheim. Only he knew I was coming. The welcome I received from all the kids I knew from babies was amazing. Lots of love there. Fool me once. I got a 22-year-old boy and an 18-year-old boy. It's good to have good boys. More divorce equals more women filing for divorce 70% of the time. Well, absolutely. They say that if a woman files for divorce, 75% of her good friends or people she works with or family members will contemplate divorce, and friends of friends will contemplate divorce 30%. Go figure. Hive mind, yo. Brad, you should get WP22. Teddy Boy Smith from the UK. We don't recruit. We find the truth when we realize in our soul that the truth has been hidden from us by the gatekeepers of humanity. Well said, Teddy Boy. Good to have you. You're always the bad guy in our story, and white knights love a quest. Stephen from Arizona, laying it down in Chinatown. Ain't that the truth? I was the bad guy. It's like a brick wall phone. Powerful. Interesting. I'll check it out. Master Wrench. He is our master wrench. Seraphim. Primo Living. My brother is on his third marriage, his third baby trap, and he's the first one to try and shame me for my bachelor lifestyle. Apparently being a bachelor means chasing the females. Misery loves company, Primo. He wants you to be miserable married as well, so you can go both bitch at the same time. But he's seeing you happy. What is the kryptonite of a woman? Seeing a man happy. And now seeing a simp happy. Or seeing a simp seeing another guy happy. It's plain equal protection under the law rarely applies to men. Well said, JLM. Well said. Happy to see the Razzers back. Today is a good day. Ant-Man the Raven. Today is a good day. I didn't have to use my AK. We have CRPC 125 as alimony in India, and women are using it as extortion. Guys, the only way to remove yourself from any court proceedings is not to get involved in the court system, and that is not signing a contract with the government. Marriages used to be between the man and the woman and the church. Now it's between man, woman, and government. He is our master trucker, Brandon Trueblood. Marriage equals slavery to a woman in America. Timmy Kramer. Because if you get married and she divorces you, she'll say, you're abusive and controlling and abusive. I have a decent amount of girls who are friends, daily reminders of why I'd rather just be alone. Manasseh. Outside of their genitalia, what do they bring to the table? And that is not a put down. What can a woman bring to this? Does she scratch your back? Does she make you food? Is she at your beck and call? Does she support you? Does she respect you? Does she get in line? Is she the second pilot? Does she love to worship you and be around you? Those are some things that don't really happen to 99.9% of women with regards to men. Mr. Hemi is back. Good to see another wrench. Brother, I hope you are well. The 50% divorce rate is doctored. I think it's 80 to 90 and only declining because men are not getting married. I would agree with that statement, Stephen. Even James Sexton, the attorney, said it was 56% in New York. Now, those are the people that are still physically married on paper. How many people are married, living in separate bedrooms, having separate lives, right? Dak is in the house. Good to see Dak, another OG of this space. 2.0. Check out Dak's channel, guys. He's up there in Canada restoring John Deere tractors and motorcycles and cars with 600 horsepower under his Dakota. Good to see Dak. Always makes good stuff. They don't like men having spaces to speak freely. We can instantly exchange info and compare notes by removing resources and denying them access, shutting down their ability to manipulate us. Couldn't have said it better, SCE. Harshit is back from India. OCH says, I'd say it again. Remember, Grand Theft Auto and San Andreas Catalina had CJ and Cloud Speed. And you still couldn't make them happy, could you? It's a shame how bad things got during the scamdemic, JLM. It wasn't good for relationships, was it? We got I Am John back in the house. Good to see you, brother. Hope you are doing well. The chat is now legit since I Am John and all the players are in the house. Marriage laws are biased in India. Men can't complain against his wife because men are the one that abused. That's how the law sees men in India. Same here. Men are considered disposable. You know, there are no safe spaces for men anymore. But this is why we're here. This is why we're here. Note the war on Ukraine will continue even in the winter. If there's still a war, it's interesting to see. If one is rich, does that mean they have no time for themselves? I got a really rich friend. He makes over $100 million in net worth, and he never has time for himself. So I would agree with that statement, Mysterio. My son's party proved to me once again that time does heal everything. I want to give you guys who lost your kids some encouragement. That's a great statement. Especially boys will come back. I've heard countless stories of men who lost their kids due to, the alienation. And when the boys hit 21 or 18, they start looking for their dad and they realize, gosh, my dad is a cool dude. I was completely bamboozled by my mother about what my dad was like. And then they end up living with the dad and they dump the mom. Happens all the time. As per NOW and AOL, 55% of married women cheat on husbands, 85% of women file divorce, and 80 to 90% of cases, women get custody, alimony, palimony, child support, the like. Reverend Insanity, Fang Wan, thank you, brother, for being here. Thank you for those statistics. You are not wrong. There is not much different in the US of A. Lots of Indians. You know what's great about India? Their food. Delicious. And who's the name of the elephant that you guys all have? Geisha? Is that it? We got a red Dax channel. Dax, he's shadow banned on his new channel like me. I've been watching his numbers and they have not gone up very much. Lockheed Martin said they can produce for us 500 blank, but in 20 years, what's going on with U.S. industry? So we went and bought. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's an interesting world we're living in. Everybody be safe out there. Buy her a cast iron skillet and vacuum for Christmas. Boy, sounds like what my dad would buy my mom for Christmas. Blenders, vacuums. You can have any job you want as long as it's behind a kitchen sink making me a sandwich. People do have time for themselves. Not if some people need to make time, but there's a lot of people that are, even rich guys, torn every which way. If a couple has separate beds, no matter the age, if they cohabitate or marriage, what does that say to you? No peace. He get no peace tonight, Mysterio. Why would the rich cheat so much? Because they can. Ganesh, that's right. The elephant. Doesn't the elephant give you certain desires? Siddharth K. was surprised to read that women over 60 are the highest consumers of antidepressants. Can't imagine what millennial and Gen Z women will be like when they hit 60. Siddharth K., good to have you, brother. You are not mistaken. And check out Dax channel, One Fast Dax channel, to see all the women post what they're taking as their head med. T-Tox is back. YouTube has released me from commenting jail. You boys are what keeps me here in spite of it all. We are glad you are back, our brother from the East Coast. Teddy Boy Smith says, investing in a woman is like investing in an unstable stock. Here today, gone tomorrow. Control your emotional spending. There's a very low return on investment. Teddy Boy Smith, work on yourself. Put yourself center. It's okay. It's okay. Notice the other day a Russian-speaking MGTOW channel must be ever wonder about China. If they can even post in China. Too many restrictions, I guess. There's no emotional bank account, says Teddy Boy Smith. Absolutely. What you did today does not matter. I tried most of those pills. Gollum voice, I hates them. Siddharth, Harshit, Manoj, and me, 4 Indians here. And there's even more. We got a lot of Indian brothers. They see it out in India. The elephant Ganesh removes obstacles. That's right. We're having Ganesh Charturi Festival after 5 days. Yeah, India's got a lot of culture, you know. There's some pretty Indian women as well, I tell you what. But I think that country is experiencing exactly what the West is. And people say, what's going to happen to Saudi Arabia and the Islamic countries, right? They're seeing it now too. A lot of these women are caught. The first thing that happens, I'm going to tell you guys the first thing that happens that I saw in my life through my marriage is when they start acting up. In other words, when they start, disrespecting in little ways, when they start not taking care of what they need to be taken care of. I'm trying to get the word, their attitude. When their attitude acts up, that is the beginning of the end. And you're seeing that even in Islamic Muslim countries. A lot of these gals their attitude is shifting. It's shifting because of technology, because of where we sit in this world, because of what's happening, because of Oprah, because of all the simps out there. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Attention is her drug, Teddy Boy Smith. Well said. India is gone and the family system is completely broken. Never come to India to find love and playhouse. Yeah, guys, again, Rad doesn't believe in love. I believe that love chemicals are the same chemicals when I see my favorite sports team win a nail biter in the last second. Same emotions. No marriage, no cohabitation, no goofballness. And you just stick with that. Just keep all emotions out of that shit. The problem, and I did a video the other day about that, the emotional state of men is what trips them up. They fall in love and they try to extract by giving the woman more emotional status out of that woman. The more I give her, the more I'll love her, which means my emotional state will go through the roof. We know that's not the case. Yes, acting up is the first stage, mainly a shit test at the stage, 100%. Well, I saw the attitude of my ex-wife shift. That's when I knew. Well, I subconsciously I knew. I think MGTOW would be the biggest in India in a few years. Yep. Simp Nation. There's Simp Nations everywhere, man. It's going to be called Simp Nation in 98% of the countries. Saudi Arabia is inviting the Skittle visitors for tourism. God, geez. 80% of my girlfriends were Indian girls when I used to mess with females. All of their fathers didn't want them dating white dudes. Interesting. Damn road construction, Bob. Bob, what are you having for lunch, Bob? Or actually, it's going to be dinner in a couple hours. Love is an action, not a feeling, something many women fail to understand. See, our brains are different. Our brains are different. We do not process the same emotional state as women do. Why do men get upset that they can't convince or help a woman see their value? It's because their brains are different than ours. When the controlling group in power can utilize women to maintain their power, they will happen in Muslim countries sooner than later, just like the USA. Stephen from Arizona. My Muslim friend makes his wife walk 3 steps behind him and polish his shoes. They seem happy. Well, she's got a domestic job. Teddy Boy Smith. I get pissed for the fact that we Freemasons. There's a lot to be said about that, old Christian. Oprah and most other daytime television, Gollum's voice. I hate them. I hate them. The past 40 years, men have been losing in America, all due to divorce and the breakup of the family. It has to stop, Timmy Kramer. The only way it stops, Timmy, as we know, is men do not participate. What is India, the second biggest population? It takes off there. It'll be huge. Correct? Bob is having pothole stew with a side of falling out fillings. We like our Bob. Slam Cave is back. Fighting simp programming is a daily fight. Lust is not love. Respect is more valuable. Welcome, Slam Cave. Check out Slam's channel, Growing Surely. Got some good content out there. It's scary that Freemasons are Norway, Maine, in Oslo. You got Freemasons out there. You got them here too. We are opposites. We're not different. We are opposites. Well said, CJ. Rebel, I'm getting a chicken pot pie from KFC. The Colonel Sanders. The wife's disrespect becomes habitual. They never think you'll put an end to it. I'd love to have a peek inside of my ex's medicine cabinet. She's gained over 100 pounds and is miserable. Sounds like John Boston's wife, ex-wife. They act strong and independent until the power goes out. Then you go on your own, ladies. Oh, geez. You know, we try to say, will it ever get better? I don't see it getting better anytime soon, folks. Men need to indulge in self-love and help our brothers in need. No government, private entity, or any ungrateful society would come for our support. Let us build a global brotherhood, says Reverend. Well said. Marriage is money-making scam just like everything else. It's a billion-dollar industry, folks, especially divorce. And they are rewarded. Except in my case, that was my theme. I had a theme in my breakup. She does not get rewarded for breaking a family apart, where most men will reward them. If the CCP takes over, you only need to look at Ogar Muslims to figure out what they want here as well. Guys, the world will continue, the landscape of the world will continue to shift. There's going to be more and more wars, pestilence, and famine, and countries will assimilate other, or what is that word? They will acquire other countries through war or through whatever, financial war, spiritual war. Is going to continue to happen. And most likely, my vision is that the Muslim and Islam countries will eventually have the majority of land ownership within the next 100 years based on their family structure. Again, the Moors. You guys that know anything about the Moors, they took over for years. Oprah Winfrey, she's goofy. She's a goofy. They've been doing it for 30 years. The families with the largest amount of kids will run this world. Japan won't. Their birth rate is like 0.1%. The American USA is 1.6 babies. The Muslims, I think, are like 7 to 8 kids. Look at that. No, a multi-billion-dollar industry, especially of the court of equity, called otherwise as family court. Yes, the court of equity. It does get better for men, not so much for the ladies. Stay on your grind. Absolutely. The only way it gets better, fool me once, is we continue to push, moving our energy. We don't have all the answers at once, but they'll come. Believe all women. I do. I believe nothing they say. Annex is the word you were looking for, I believe. Yes. Thank you, Hemi. So we're going to see shifting things. So what happens when men are not marrying and having kids? Humanity falters. Most red pill men are actually purple pill in denial. Well said. I've been monk since 2019 and see so many men around me state they are red pill. A lot of guys go back because they can't handle it. Now, Rad is not a monk, but I also understand where I sit in reality. Let's see. Reverend says same in India. Well said. Family court and English common law. Women are hive-minded and lie to one another about divorce. They sure do. And they lie through pictures and videos on their Facebooks. The Western culture is dying. It's like Red Dead Redemption. Yes. And the Moors led to the Inquisition. Yes, they did, SCE. Birth rate of 0.57% in South Korea. Well, there you go. The folks that are having the very, like China, they're not, what's going to happen to China in 100 years? Just look at population density and where it's going. Yep, Nick Vincent, you're absolutely right, brother. Brian has been the house. I've stated this before respectfully. Marriage and divorce statistics are kept in the center of disease control. Wow, very disturbing. That is disturbing. Good to see you, Brian. Ishi's back. Sorry about the change of topic. Do you believe in polygraph tests? Good question. They can be manipulated. But I think for the most part, if someone's under the polygraph, they're going to probably flunk it because they're nervous. When I was in the printing industry, one of my accounts was a bridal catalog company. They went kaput. T-Talks. The industry, do not get in the wedding industry. Divorce certificate is a death warrant for men. Whoever signs it better not sign that marriage certificate. Well said. London is a foreign country for us Brits. I've heard London, especially Morrissey, has talked about the immigration problem in the English heart. When you catch her with chaos salami in her mouth, just know that the sausage will be on the black block sooner or later. Thank him and move on. Teddy Boy Smith out in the UK says London is a failed society. Don't quit. Persevere is back. Good to see you, brother. What's going to happen to China in the next 20 years? Their boomers are dying off sooner. Well said. I'm a patriot not living in my own country. China has an aging demography. After 3-child policy, Chinese men don't want to have children. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it happen. Victoria's Secret also went belly up. Did they really? That's interesting. Now I understand why Michael Moore won't do videos on Freemasons. Think about it. He's too much of a fat blank for the elites. That's funny. Mike says, T-Talk. Good to see Mike in here. T-Talk, perhaps they can fire up their printers and start printing divorce certificates. Well, instead of a marriage reception, have a divorce reception. Maybe that's where they need to go. Every city needs a men's chapter with MGTOW, monthly gatherings, beers, and steaks. Timmy can make the steaks for us on his grill. Gen X boomers any day, says Megatron. Fool me once, says, like you, Rad, I'm not a monk. I still like the company, but it's on my terms. No commitment. If they don't like it, they know where the door is. Keep emotions out of it. There's nothing wrong with hanging out with, if you desire, but understand female nature, understand where you sit in the equation. And go from there. Now, we love our monk brothers. There are reasons that guys go monk, and I completely understand it. Completely. There's a percentage of time when Rad was monk. But now I just navigate life accordingly. And I'm the one that's on the table. I'm the one that's on the table. But men find this red pill through a breakup, through divorce. We don't recruit. Typically they'll be searching, how do I get my ex back? How can I get my wife to love me? How can I help my wife stay in the marriage? Or how do I keep my family together? Certain Google term and YouTube terms like that will bring them. That's how, literally, when I was going through my divorce, I'm like, how to deal with my divorce, something like that, or how to deal with my wife's divorcing me or something like that. And I found TFM and I found Big John's. And I started reading the comments. And I'm like, oh, he sounds just like me. And then there's hundreds of comments with same guys, and then other videos, other stories, and other guys. It was like, I wasn't the only one. Here I am. Now I'm finding out that there's a brotherhood out there helping people get through this, that I wasn't alone. But nobody recruited me. Big Daddy God will not like that. Not enough slaves to pay for the Chad spawn. Well, we're going to be seeing even more of taxation because men are not having kids anymore. Let's discuss that Tennessee paternity fraud law. There we go. Being 9 years in the community, I agree with Timmy. We as MGTOW need to meet with each other and form bonds. Well said. Well, Scotty Side was out here last week. We met up, and I've met Timmy. I've met Brandon. I've met Rev. Met a couple others. If you want a polygraph test, create a false story with detail and believe that story and keep repeating it. Yep, you got to have that belief. Get Free is back. I read somewhere that people in Utah think they're the Switzerland. Any truth to that? The Switzerland of America is Alaska. They have the mountains that look just like the Swiss Alps. No, I don't agree with that, Get Free. But we do have a lot of snow and mountains. When you catch her with her hand around Tyrone's smooth shaft, just know he's doing you a favor. Shake his hand and wish him all the best. Whatever was your problem is now somebody else's. I'm monk because I'm blue pill at heart and just avoid the drug to prevent a relapse. I will end up falling in love with the 304. So just avoid the situation. Well, at least you're honest about it. You're honest. The MGTOW philosophy began around 2011 with only a few channels. Thinking Ape, Barbar, Spetsnat was good back then. Is Spetsnat still around? Carl says, I feel sorry for my nephew. Definition of a nice, good guy, married an Alabama U sorority girl he met off Bumble. Married 2 years and pregnant, family's wealthy, but he'll get divorced. I could predict that. If she's in a sorority, she's getting divorced. Was one of the first progenitors to discuss men's issue in MGTOW philosophy. Oh, interesting. Megatron says, oh, shit. Fuck. I just put Megatron, unfortunately, in timeout, and I shouldn't have done that. I was trying to click on your deal. Let me see if I can get that undone. Oh, Christian said, London is a shit show. Well, London's turning into France, right? Brad, Chad, Tyrone are all the 1%. How do I unrelease somebody from timeout? A complete mistake, so I apologize for that, Megatron. Nice guys mean emotional tampon to the ladies. Megatron, how do I get him from unbanned? How do I unban Megatron? Damn it. Somebody tell me how I do that. Reverend Insanity. So if Megatron's listening, let him know he's not banned. It was an accident. I hit the wrong deal with my mouse. Okay. Came back from the retirement 2020, made a documentary, and then said his goodbye. Interesting. SC, what do you mean? He's not banned. Can he get back in here? It just says Megatron was banned and their comments were removed. So I've got to get him back somehow. Oh, it's only a 5-minute timeout. Okay. He's listening. Someone sent him a message. I think it just has to run its time for a timeout. Okay. Okay. Let's wait till he gets back. Sorry about that, brother. I Googled crazy women years ago and came across Paul Elam. Paul Elam had some good stuff. Didn't he get remarried? Steps is still around, but doesn't make videos anymore. You know, sometimes, I can see a lot of these guys, you get to a point where I was having a discussion with Scotty side. There's only so much content that you put out. Like when you're starting, you have so much ideas about hypergamy, Berfault's law, or what you've been through. And that's great. And then you do live streams, connect. I think that's kind of where I've been going, just more of my live streams, just because I can interact with everybody, hear new ideas, new experiences. But every now and again, I'll have a nice thought and I like to post it on a video. But when I first started my other channel, I was doing 2 videos a week. All right. Appreciate that, brother. And so it's like, there's only so much you can say, I guess. And then you let some new flavor come in. And there's lots of new flavors, which we like. Oh, he got married to another gal. Okay. Well, the problem, and here's the problem with his movement. It just fell on deaf ears. Yes, other men agreed with him that we are, under the gun when it comes to family courts or the government and the disposability of men, but it really didn't move forward. If anything, it got the narrative out there and potentially set up MGTOW, or channels like this. He's in a relationship of 12 years. Okay. I wonder if he is married. Good question. Your shorts were very good, Rad, on the deleted channel. Thanks, brother. They're slowly but surely. If Sac AB's listening, send me some more videos. I know he downloaded all of them and just taking our time to get them to the new channel, Rumble. Thanks, Nick. I'd rather be sexless and free than in a sexless marriage. I know a lot of guys in sexless marriage. How is that a marriage if there's no intimacy? Many OG creators were doxxed and crucified. I always put my face out there, unless I'm doing like a trail hike. If you find me, this is not a channel where we bash and hate on ladies. We just understand nature. We understand how to deal with them. A study from Cambridge University showed that you are 55% more likely to contract herpes if your girl slept with more than 4 black men behind your back. Interesting. Does it have to be just black men or any kind of man? Ever been to Costa Rica? I have not. When I think about Costa Rica, I think it's probably one of the most popular destinations. So there's going to be a lot of Americans there. I mean, Mexico, in a sense, has a lot of Americans, but I kind of like to go less where there's less expats. Although Cabo's got a ton of them, but I like to go to non-tourist areas of Baja. I'd love to see Big John MGTOW's freedom. Me too. 2016 was a golden time for MGTOW content. I remember Howard Dare's Christmas live stream. Miggy 101, Chris Cantu. Yeah, Rev and I did a live stream with Chris Cantu. If he's listening, he's a good dude. I like some of his stuff. Who else was it? Ronin Man, Chris Cantu, TFM, Howard Dare. Howard Dare's back. Default law should be the 11th commandment. It should be something. But it's never, men are never going to wake up until they go through something. That's the whole part of this, this theme today is we can't recruit. They're just eventually going to have to wake up from the shit show they went through, a divorce, a breakup, or have you. And hopefully they find it. Most won't. Most will just get on and see we're just a bunch of fat, old, bald men that are complaining about ladies, which is fine. Which is fine if they want to say that, but they'll just run back to the plantation because it's easier. They don't want to be alone. What's funny is some married men think getting sex isn't a sexless marriage. Delusional. The definition of a sexless marriage is one or fewer times a month. I had a buddy reach out to me years ago and said, my wife says having sex once every 3 months is normal. I said, dude, that's not normal. Good to hear that, Reverend Stardust. Reverend Insanity. Spetsnaz is also my favorite. Where was he out of? I've noticed more middle-aged women coming into this arena. Happy Wife School, for one. A lot coming in through George Bruno. I think there are women that come to our channels that are actually more concerned for their sons and how they can help their sons not get involved with a 304 or a damaged and delusional girl. There's a lot of those. I've had emails and so forth. Or how to be, there's a lot of women that are also trolls that also come and, want to create chaos. But there are some decent moms that are worried about the future of their sons in this environment. Lisa Smith being one of them. Carl says Chris Cantu. I didn't know he did anything about crypto. See you later, Bob. He had some really good stuff in the beginning, and I listened to him. I mean, there's been a lot of great creators that have come and gone. There's creators that didn't. Isn't there one big creator that went back to the plantation? He was really big and decided to get a girlfriend or get married or something. There was one guy, I think, Angry MGTOW. You guys remember him? He went back to the. I think he got a girlfriend and he started turning his back on MGTOW. MGTOW isn't. I mean, when people say what is red pill? Red pill's the reality. And the blue pill is fantasy. That's all it is. A man going his own way just says, what? I'm not going to put a woman first anymore. I've gone through a shit show. I'm going to put myself first. Interesting to know about that, Reverend. Angry MGTOW and the backstabbers. Interesting. If she decides someone has a bigger, better deal, you're done. That is 101 right there. Red pill 101. Briefalt's law, monkey branching. So it's also about getting bad quality intimacy a few times. Like, are you done yet? Hurry up. That was Spetsnaz. Okay. Take away the power of the golden vagina and shaming language to retain your power. How come a lot of women believe that their vaginas are golden? Yes, JLM, I do subscribe to Big John's prepping channel. I do like his stuff. He's still got that abrasive, direct, prepared mind. And he's anti-government, and he's been still get a little bit of my fix there's old videos of him on MGTOW, Mirror Project, and you can find some YouTube guys that put up some of this stuff, but with the Board of Truth. Spetsnaz, the isolated male, is my favorite. Huh. I don't know if I've heard that one. I might have. If your wife is cheating, should you just accept and keep quiet to save you dollars? And start seeing, you could. You could. Depends on how moral you are. If she's cheating on you, that means she's done. Then now at this point, it's a financial transaction between you and her, you paying her bills. Really no different than a girlfriend cheating on you and you're paying for that girl. JLM says he's a no BS kind of guy. Gotcha. Well, guys, this has been a terrific stream with great content from all of you. Great discussion. They believe they're golden because too many guys will do anything to get it. Gotcha. Big John just made a video. Yeah, he's been making them a lot. I think every day he does something. Angry MGTOW is back. He's the one who scammed everyone with his red coin. Oh. He never showed his face. I always wondered what he looked like. He seemed to me like maybe he was a heavy guy that had no game. I don't know. That was angry. I mean, there's a point that you can be angry, but you can't let the anger run you. Anger will put you in servitude to your emotions. No different than being enslaved to this love you feel towards a woman. JLM says he'd be gathering info. There you go. Private investigator, Magnum PI. He has no remorse for everyone that he scammed. There you go. I'd hate to have to come home to Rosie the Riveter. Angela Palmer for 300, Trebek. If a girl had more 5 bodies before marriage, you have a 74.5% chance of divorce. Thank you, Teddy Boy. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Angry MGTOW. So he was pretty sketchy. Interesting. But anyhow, guys, it's been a good stream. You guys go out and have a great rest of the week. Be an example to other men out there that you're confident, that you're doing things that bring you happiness, peace, quiet, and freedom. Rebel against defeat, chase excellence, masculinity, men first.